Hey folks, welcome back to another F64 Live impromptu interview. I'm Frederick Van Johnson. I'm here with Shadi. He runs one of the most popular camera stores down here in the Riverside, Corona area. And since I have you on the hot seat here, you're here at F64, you did some specials with Panasonic, etc., right?
Absolutely, yes we did. We can't talk about them, they're only one day here, so when you see this, it'll be already too late.
They're gone already. But since I have you here, I wanted to put you on the hot seat and ask you, there's been like controversy outside of the retail, right? Like consumers are always saying there's this kind of a Mac versus PC debate going on with mirrorless versus DSLR. What are you seeing from the end of the supply chain standpoint of who's buying what? Are you seeing a decline in DSLR, incline in mirrorless? Are they both inclining? What do you see?
Definitely a decline with digital SLR and a very large increase in demand. It's creating a new market. Mirrorless creating a new consumer, a new market. Let's start with one thing very important. A lot of people start with the phone, and now we have an opportunity. A lot of new videographers / photographers that never knew the joy of doing photos. Yeah. Like you said earlier about digital photography and real photography, they get to the point to know that their phone is a great tool, which is best camera, is the camera you have with you, and that's what we teach. But now they see a progress. But the problem now is with size. So some manufacturers sold the mirrorless as a small camera, then went with larger lenses, kind of moved people in directions that they went from digital SLRs to mirrorless, and some went steady with the size.
And then the mirrorless cameras are getting bigger now.
Absolutely. They're getting bigger. They're doing a lot more than digital or DSLR's been doing. Now, they still are used for digital SLRs. There's still solid cameras like the Canon 1DX Mark II, like the 5D from Nikon. The high-end cameras is still a use for them. Again, mirrorless, I'm going to mention like the Lumix size, not size of the body, but the size of the lens. Yeah. They kept both together. And consumers start hearing the word 4K and not knowing what that, right. What's that all about?
It's a buzzword, like, you know.
What is 4K? Yeah. But Lumix, why I'm mentioning them, because they created 4K photos, and now they came out with 6K photos. For me, it made the megapixel irrelevant. I know this is, some people are going to get back, it's like, what is he talking about? Mm-hmm. It did. If I show you an 18 megapixel 6K photo, and I show you how large you can get it, you won't believe me. You say this is a 50 megapixel, or 36 megapixel, or 80 megapixel. Yeah. But again, we're talking about not just the mirrorless and digital, what they've been packing in the mirrorless cameras right now can do so much. Capturing a photo from a full video, having 60 frames a second raw. I mean, these kind of things that you can't do or you can't see in digital SLR.
But those things, so devil's advocate here, right? So some people that shoot DSLRs will say, that's all great, but I'm never going to use any of that stuff. What I care about is focusing speed and being able to work in low light and not have grainy photos when I blow them up. You throw this, and I shoot mirrorless, so I'm playing devil's advocate, right? You throw this micro four thirds sensor at me, I can't do what I can do with a larger camera that is using different focusing technology than mirrorless cameras. What do you say to that argument?
Okay, we're going to say this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we all know Canon has the fastest autofocus in the world. And they don't pack it in their T6 or Rebel. They pack it in C200, C300, and right now they actually did pack it in a 5D for the 5D Mark IV. So they have the fastest autofocus. Doesn't matter if it's that's a mirrorless. If you want to see the cinema cameras from Canon, right. They're mirrorless. So some had an issue, and they corrected it through software. We're learning now that the camera can be upgraded through software and can be worked on, engineered to do better. Like right now, the latest upgrade that some of the Micro Four Third, I've seen some astrophotography. If I show it to some people, they won't believe me. Now, of course, size of sensors still matter. Larger sensor could do things.
It's physics.
Physics. But there is so much doable without spending so much. Now, we're looking at a newer generation that sees, I want more. Well, it's always been, I want more for less. I want everything. Yeah. And people, mirrorless, for some reason, have been able to pack that. Now, I'm not saying that digital SLRs haven't. It's still different use. Like, I can't explain it on a one episode or 10. Yeah.
But what about from the standpoint of like, we'll put a fine point on it. So someone who's like, say, a wedding photographer, right? They shoot weddings every weekend or whatever. They're used to using a Canon DSLR, Nikon DSLR, and are we on a trajectory that those people will leave a mirrored camera and can get the same performance or better from a mirrorless system?
I say this absolutely. Not 2 years ago, but right now, absolutely. Mirrorless, and there's a lot of surprises happening now. It's happening in a couple months in September. I'm going to be in Photokina to watch and witness some new cameras. It's going to change the way industry is. So, yes, before it wasn't, but now actually mirrorless can do a little bit more than digital SLRs in certain aspects. Some of us are not just doing photos, some of us are doing videos. They're doing two jobs. Some of the photographers become videographers, and they can do two jobs by recording and take photos out of their video and deliver to their customer 2 items in one time. Now, I'm not promoting to cut down. We're actually creating, with a new software called Live Portrait, we're creating more jobs. We can talk about this in different episodes. Yeah. But there's ways that we can create jobs, or there's new ways of seeing how to do photography and videography. Yeah.
New ways of presenting your final product.
Absolutely. You cannot think about it. What last year is different. This year is different, and by September this year, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises for all, not just photographers, cinematographers, and videographers. It's cool.
Don't give it away.
I can't give anything away. I can't wait to touch it.
You know nothing.
I know nothing, but we need to go see it. And I'm sure you know like how the progress is happening. And now there's such an acceleration. This 2018, there's things going to be out that I believe, I don't know for 100%, but I believe is going to change the way we see how photography and or videography happens.
Well, let's wrap it up. So last question is this. And this is, a lot of people have this on their mind. So we're talking, the main gist of this interview is DSLR and mirrorless. I don't want to say versus, but DSLR and mirrorless, right? They're different tools in the toolbox. Are we on a trajectory that says DSLRs were kind of here and now they're being antiquated and going away to be extinct, to be replaced by the new creature that is mirrorless? Or are we on a parallel track where maybe DSLR, sort of flattens out a little bit and mirrorless is going up because of the adoption? Which one do you think? Are DSLRs going away completely to be replaced by mirrorless?
They've been in decline for the last few years. I don't want to say how long, but it's been in decline. While mirrorless is keeping this industry in general on afloat because it's growing rapidly. We can talk about Sony market share, how they passed some traditional before
the A7 series.
Yeah, and they passed their number 2 now after Canon. Now you're going to say, well, Canon does digital SLR. Canon is a different player in the industry. They are so powerful. We're not here to talk about specific, but you're absolutely right. I believe that it's going to happen. Right now, it's happening very slow because everybody that does digital SLRs are holding into, they have tens of millions of lenses. Yeah. A lot of changes has to be happening. When they create a new system, they have to create new lenses. So there's a bigger investment while you're declining. You don't want to throw money while you're losing money. But it's happening, and I think when the decision, let's say in Japan, when they sit all together, like they usually do, and decided, okay, no more digital SLRs, we're going to see the mirrorless take over within so quick that we won't even realize it.
Yeah. And Shadi, what do you shoot with?
I love all cameras. I have them all. So
I'm putting you on the spot.
But recently, I actually have 2. I've been doing my videos with GH5 and my photos with the G9.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I'm very impressed with the Micro Four Thirds sensor. Now, I shot with Sony, and the A9 is gorgeous. I shot with the Nikon, and Nikon has an amazing processor. Canon colors and speed of focus is amazing. It's just went on a trip for 7 countries, and my bag was probably the smallest ever, and I did so much more photography that I've ever done for the last 10, 12 years. I used to carry the cameras and be afraid to take it with me anywhere because it's so heavy. So the weight is helping me tremendously, and I'm enjoying the app, like the thing that I can load the photos and process them and send them to be printed through. It's just the technology.
You enjoy it more. So let's last thing here. ImageOne. If people want to, tell us where you are, and if people want to come see you, see your salespeople, and get their next kit, how do they do that?
Well, ImageOne Camera and Video is your Southern California local camera store. We love our local community. As you see, we're part of F64. We have clubs like IAPPV. ImageOne is not the typical camera store. So if you look at us, you'll find us that we're involved in production. We work with YouTubers from around the world. We are opening in different countries. We like our community. We understand that you have a lot of choices, but the only way you can choose this is by taking care of you, making sure that you're going the right directions. It might sound a little biased when I was talking. I love all manufacturers. I just carry personally the stuff that I'm comfortable with, and this might change. But as long as the latest and greatest, that's what ImageOne shoots for. We're always shooting for it. As I said, we're going to be in Photokina. Follow us. Our website's still a new baby, so we're working on that. Don't judge us. Call us or stop by if you're locally.
Awesome. All right, Shadi. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate
take care.
it. Thank you.
All right. F64 Live, ImageOne. See you later.